Um, just a few, a couple of thoughts about investing. As I was sitting here, pretty much counting some gold, counting some silver, and how long-term material investments are probably some of the safest, to name a bit, right? Because it kind of started to make me think. Let me put my stacks over here out the pick out your frame. Okay. So we're going to look at these, and a lot of people are going to go absolutely crazy because I don't have on gloves. But we're going to look at two forms of currency. The third one you already know. So right off the bat here, you have gold and silver, right? Somali. And some people again are going crazy because I'm not wearing gloves. Okay, but I'm just touching the edges, but they will want that on a soft surface, not to scratch it, because silver initially and gold coins are art in a form of currency, really, because a lot of people love the different designs. Okay, and then we have 1 ounce of gold. Okay, a lot smaller. Gold is a soft metal, right? And I touched the back of it, but nonetheless, there you have it. So I'm gonna answer that question. So with me, then we have good old hard-earned cash, right? We have hard-earned cash. I don't have a lot here, guys. I didn't bring all the money from the safe. or this is just my rent money. But nonetheless, then you have good old fashioned money, paper money, which is fiat. Okay. These are essentially IOUs to the government, essentially, when you're looking at this. And we're breaking this down. We're talking about investing. Okay. But these are just IOUs, right? There's a lot of information on the dollar. We're not going to examine it here. We're not going to go. But you notice this one little message here. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, right? And then also you have your regular investments in the stock market. So we notice inflation rose to 9.3. We know that the T bonds and the TIPS, those Treasury protected security bonds, they are still around 2 to 3%. Okay, so T bonds right now are safe. But I did tell you guys this when the stock market started to drop dramatically. The one thing I said was invest, invest, invest. All of the different investment sectors and industries are on sale right now. They're on sale. But in this past week, I don't know if you guys have been really watching the stock market. The stock market has been up 2, 3, 4%. I have been seeing my portfolio do very, very well. Now, when we're talking about gold and silver of having sustainable currency, something that if the economy was to fail, that you guys can essentially hold on you, gold and silver. A lot of people always ask me, where do I get my gold and silver? Okay. I get my gold and silver or silver and gold from apex.com, which is American Precious Metal Exchange.com. I'm not a spokesperson for them, not a sponsor. I'm just someone who buys my gold and silver from American Precious Metal Exchange. So that's where I essentially get my gold from. Okay, so with me, that's where they order from. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to investing in the stock market, you guys should have never stopped investing in the stock market. And this is why I leave my investments on monthly allotment. And a lot of you may thinking, $300, $400, $500. No, guys, it just takes for you to $25 a month, $50 a month, just start investing and just don't stop. And people ask me, well, where do you invest in? Where do you do this? There's all sorts of applications that you guys can use. You can use Stash. You can use Acorn. You can use Robinhood. You can use WeBull, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. A lot of these have monthly plans where you guys invest on dollar cost averaging in these index funds. And I'm going to tell you again, Stay away from mutual funds, because mutual funds, what they don't tell you, I read Tony Robbins' Unforgiven book or Unshakable book, but it was about finance. And Tony Robbins was talking about how mutual funds have a lot of hidden fees. And he had a bunch of names, what they call it, but they're commission fees, because mutual funds are actively traded funds. A lot of people always tell you, get in mutual funds, get in mutual funds. Mutual funds are not safe, okay? Mutual funds are not safe because they have a lot of hidden fees, because they're not passively managed, they're actively managed. So if you have an actively managed account, those are transactions which are taxable, so you're going to pay tax, and then commissionable, which you're going to pay commission. But with index funds, they are passive, meaning they pick, anywhere from 2 to 10 or 20 stocks that are rock solid, and they don't do any transaction except for you buying the stock. All right, because that lowers your amount of transactions, which you don't pay taxes. Right? You just pay a expense ratio fee. And a lot of these with the index funds and also exchange traded funds, you will see that those have low operating costs. So no matter the economy, right? Unless you are unemployed, you're homeless, you're hurting for cash, I can understand. You're going to slow down your investments, you're going to stop your investments. But if you have a steady paycheck coming in, and you have a little bit of extra cash, and I'm talking about 10, 15, 20, 300, 400, 500, whatever you consider extra, that money should be in the stock market for you. This happens around every 10 years when you look at financial history. There's a recession, there's a depression, but the people who continue to invest during those down times when everything is cheap, these are the ones that come out of the recession 3 times, 5 times, 10 times better than they went in. Because the stock market is ran off emotions, right? So if things are occurring around the nation, the stock market responds emotionally. It gets scared. So people start to trade in all their stocks, losing money on all their stocks. And anytime you transfer wealth like that, there's just a group of investors collecting all of the money that you traded your stocks in for. Because maybe you bought Apple at $35, and then the pandemic happened and you panicked and you sold Apple at $30. You lost $5 a share versus someone like me. I'm gonna come in and buy Apple when it starts to bottom out, right? There's a percentage where even during a down market, stocks tend to drop anywhere from 30 to 50%. And anywhere from 30 to 50 is a good investment because you're getting less than the person who sold it on the stock market, because there's volume of stocks. You get what I'm getting at? So no matter the market, no matter if it's a recession, a depression, a pandemic, whatever it may be, invest, especially if you have the money. Leave your accounts on monthly allotments. Also, 2 more, Wealthfront is a good place to invest, in my opinion. And also Wealthsimple. I'm not a spokesperson, I'm not a salesman for them. These are some of the ones I've used and use. I still use Wealthfront today. And I just allocate $200 to Wealthfront. I just set my money to it, and I forget it. Sorry, I got money flying all over the place. There's not a lot of cash here. Believe it or not, though, I think it's important to have these currencies inside of a house, inside of your safe, things of that matter, right? And always just have some cash on you. That's my opinion, because I don't know the way that the world works. And maybe gold and silver come obsolete, right? Gold and silver becomes obsolete, and then we're using paper money. But most likely paper money, which is fiat, will go a lot sooner than a real rare metal, okay? So that's important as well. These are things that we need to unconventionally look at when it comes to investing and having currency and money on hand. That's just kind of one of my things I've learned about money. and for people who has a lot more money than I'll ever have, is that they always kept gold, silver, and just regular money on them, like dollar bills. And I would ask these people, like, why do you got $5,000 in your safe? You see that all the time in the movies, right? They always got $5,000, $10,000 inside their safe, and then you'll see a lot of them with gold and silver. Some movies you've seen them with bonds. Why do they have all these types of additional currency? Because when you start to do financially well, the one thing you don't want to stop is success. And success just equals money. Okay? Success just equals money. Good evening, Jermaine Anderson. Thank you for joining me, sir. When people talk about how successful people are, they're talking about money, family. That's all they're talking about. Oh, they own a couple of businesses. And they're talking about money. So there's two types of people who, one, invest in something and become very, very rich, and people buy land and real estate, right? Start a business. So there's some really simple ways. What's going on, D? There's a lot of simple ways in order to start to make really good money. It doesn't matter if you're working at Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. It doesn't matter. You're working at Chick-fil-A. If you know at the end of the month, at the end of the 2 weeks where you're getting paid, then guess what? Allocate that $15 to $25, because Einstein said, this is what Einstein said. He said compound interest is one of the most unexplainable things in the universe. That's what he said. He cannot even explain compound interest. So when we're talking about investment and using dollar cost averaging, which means you allocate $150 a month, you allocate $50 a month to a certain index fund or buying a certain stock, you're going to buy that stock in whole and or in increments, okay, with a lot of those robo investors. So that's important, okay? But this is a time where the stock market really gave us indicators that it was going to come back, and I think a lot of us ignored it. But if you've been watching the stock market lately, it's been doing very, very well in the past 2 weeks. And that doesn't mean that it won't drop again. But if the economy starts to get better, as the real estate market started to cool down, you're going to see stocks start to boom again, and then you missed out on this current sale. So again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here tonight. Just wanted to give you guys a quick message. If you have it, go ahead and invest in gold and silver. And that's just having actual gold. Okay. And the money's flying again. Okay, actual gold and actual silver. And yes, I know, I'm supposed to be wearing gloves. I know. Okay. And like I said, the silver and gold has a lot of designs on it, family. It has a lot of designs on it. So it's like art as well. And then you have your stinking regular old money, okay? There's some 20s, some hundreds there. That's about it. You have these three forms of currency. Maybe you need $150, right? You need $150 as your getaway cash. I tell my wife that all the time. She's like, babe, when she first met me, she's like, babe, why you got money in the safe? I said, babe, you just never know where you got to go, right? And I'm not this doomsday sort of person, but you just never know when you just have to get up and go. And ladies should know that. I know ladies know that. Like, hey, let me just have some cash on hand. He may counsel the cards. I'm out of here. But I tell everybody that have cash on hand. First, I started with cash. Then I started with silver, because silver per ounce is, excuse me, anywhere between $14 to $17. On the other hand, 1 ounce of gold, last time I checked, was around $1,500 per ounce of gold. More people start to convert their money to gold because you carry less, okay, and it's worth more versus current around silver. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful evening. If you notice, I've been changing my platform. I'm trying to tape at different times, so I want to be a little more spontaneous, and I want to be a little more mobile. So look for us to take some quote unquote virtual field trips. I think I need to get back in the field and do some things on the weekends. Show you guys some fun videos, financial videos, things of that nature. So the platform's still going to be here. This is a matter of creating it with another job I have. So this look out for new material. Hopefully you guys like it. You guys have a great and wonderful evening. All right. Good night.